The name of my message today is One Step Away. Okay? I haven't talked to Kat. God is amazing. He never stops amazing me, ever stops amazing me. I almost lost my mind sitting there while you're giving your nugget and I'm getting ready to cry and Lynn's like, hold yourself together. I'm like, I'm losing it. And let me just add a layer to this, okay? Let me add a layer to your faith right now. I was in the middle of awake and asleep yesterday morning, and I heard God say, ask Tammy for a song. And I was like, I immediately thought altar song because I didn't have one, and I thought that was it, but I reached out to Tammy and asked her for a song. So Tammy said, I'll pray. Let me tell you, the name of the song was One Step Away by Casting Crowns. Another layer of faith added onto the things that God can do. Also, John asked me to do the message on Thursday again. I think he likes to test me. And he also said, I'd ask you on a Saturday night and feel comfortable you'd come up with something. He's correct. God would show up. But this is kind of like my life has been lately. Have you guys been on a roller coaster? It's like super exhilarating, but you're scared out of your mind. God, I have a plan for your life. This is what it feels like. That's kind of how the last few days have been for me, only because I had a message on Thursday night. I talked to John Friday. I went to work, and I felt like God had told me what he wanted me to say. So I typed it all out. Any of you who have been at Preachers in Training with me know I'm a perfectionist. It's not always a good trait to have, and I had it all typed up, and it's just so beautiful. And then yesterday I was getting my chicken coop ready for my cute little chickens, and getting them ready to go outside, and I heard another thing, and I was like, that is not anything like I already have all typed out in beautiful print on my paper. And I was like, okay. So then I kind of rewrote it. And then this morning I was sitting in prayer, and I woke up feeling a little unsettled, like maybe that's not it. And he changed it again. So that's where we're at. We're at one step away. So in that song, One Step Away, you hear, you're one step away from surrender. You're one step away from coming home. Just one step. How many Christians do you know that back up a little bit because we've had some trials like Kat? We're being attacked with words and voices that are not from the Lord. You have a choice in that moment. You're one step away from the Lord. You're just one step. That's it, just one step. And I'm going to give you a testimony about this last week that showed me that I was just one step away, but I was also a step away from going the complete opposite direction. God has had me on this mountain, like John said. I've been on that mountain for a long time. God has been speaking to me, doing amazing things in my life, just thing after thing of amazement, and I hit a valley. I was at the grocery store, and I was leaving the grocery. Well, I walked into the grocery store, and I saw this boy in a wheelchair, and I kind of had a little tinge. Like, he looked sad. I thought, I need to stop and pray for him. I didn't. Okay? I did not. And then I was leaving the store, and I had my groceries. I'm in a hurry, mind you. Lots of things going on in my life, like everybody does. And I go by, and I see this boy again, and he looks even sadder than he did when I walked in. And I feel like God's saying, you need to stop and pray for him. I didn't. I was busy. I didn't. And so, door wide open for condemnation, right? I got to the car. God convicted me. He was soft about it, but firm about it. Like, you know what you're supposed to do. You know how to obey me. It was very soft, but it was very convicting to my heart to not grieve the Holy Spirit. But then came the whispers. Then came the whispers, and I let them go on for a few days. You're a dirtbag, as John put it. That's not exactly what he said to me, but it was just like, you get up there and you preach. You talk about God like he can do anything. You do all of these things, but you are a dirtbag. And every time I'd try to whisper, dirtbag, 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 and it was just kind of like I was overtaken by it within a couple days. I could have went one way or the other. I was one step away from agreeing with that I'm a dirtbag and never getting up here and preaching again and never talking about that stuff again, or I was one step away from coming home and saying, you love me, I made a mistake, and you knew that I was going to make a mistake before I was even born, and you still love me. One step away. That's it. Just one tiny step away. And I think a lot of us get condemned in that situation like, okay, I have made a mistake that's way too big now, and I can never go back. I can't get that moment back. But you're literally one step away, and he knew that you were going to do that before you did it. You're one tiny step away. I know that picture's gone, but you're one step away from a roller coaster ride. And I know not everybody is like, that sounds like a great idea. It's an amazing idea. Yes, there's a couple roller coasters you can take, one with the Holy Spirit, one with not. It's an amazing ride. You will not have a boring life. You will not. And he bears with us in all of our failures. He bears with us. He knew it. You're just one step away from coming home. Just one step. Just one step. I have a question for everybody here. Can God do anything? Okay, everybody, I'm asking for participation from the audience. Can God do anything? Nope. He can't. I tricked you all, and that was really fun. I've like been thinking about it. I'm like, I don't get out there and trick these people. It's gonna be. You don't want to say no when I ask you that, so thought I'd a little trick in there for you. I heard Tammy say no. There are a couple things, and I could probably come up with more, that God cannot do. He cannot change your will, and he cannot worship himself. Neither of those things can God do. You can't. You are given a free will, and he can't force you to take that step. He cannot force you to take that step towards him, to take that step, and it's uncomfortable, onto the roller coaster ride where you are not in control. He cannot do that. God is above everything, and his word is firm, and he gave us free will. And he can't worship himself because there's no one higher than him. So no, he can't do everything or anything. You have to do that. You have to take that step. You have to decide that that step is the step you want to take. Kat decided the devil's attacking her. She could have stayed right there. Her will was, it's easier if I just stop testifying. It's easier to just let all of these things take me down. Yes, and so have I, Kat. Don't be condemned, because so have I. I think all of us can admit we have all done that. But you're just one step away. It's your will. It is your will to take that step. He cannot force you. He can comfort you. He can encourage you. He can give you words. He can give you visions. He can do all of those amazing things. But if you refuse to take the step, you're going nowhere. He cannot force you. He will not. It's in his word. You have a will. You have a will. He'll find somebody else, I promise you. That's what I know about my God, and that's something that scares me. Like when I didn't pray for that kid, it was in my head. Like, I know you'll find someone else. Well, that can't be my excuse. I want to see God move. I want to encounter God. I want to see God in the land of the living. But it's one step away. I have to take the step. You have to take the step, whether it's because you're being condemned or God's leading you to do something really scary, like here, and John asks you on Thursday night if you'll come preach. I had a choice. I had a step. Preach or sit there. There is more comfortable. It's so much. Thanks, John. John's comfortable. But you have a choice. Do you want to see him move in your life? Do you want to see God in the land of the living? It's one step away. You've got a choice to make. You've got a choice to make. I've got a lot of verses on here because I literally have written up 3 messages. So let's get to a verse here because I want you to see what kind of like the first step might look like for you, or steps would look like as you're moving through your life. And this, I'm reading from the Passion Translation because I love how rich it is, and it just like gives extra words to give you the meaning of a word. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So we're going to read Hebrews 12:25 through 29. So we went from will, right? Your will is something he cannot make you do. He can suggest, he can encourage, he can talk to you, but he cannot force you to do those things. Worship is the same. He cannot make you worship, and here he has nobody to worship because there's no one higher than him. Hebrews 12:25 through 29. I'm going to get a drink. I'm real thirsty. The earth was rocked at the sound of his voice from the mountain, but now he has promised, once and for all, I will not only shake the systems of the world, but also the unseen powers in the heavenly realm. Now this phrase, once and for all, clearly indicates the final removal of things that are shaking. That is the old order, so only what is unshakable will remain. Since we are receiving, so this is current, we are receiving our rights to an unshakable kingdom, we should be extremely thankful and offer God the purest worship that delights his heart as we lay down our lives in absolute surrender filled with awe. For our God is a holy, devouring fire. He gives will, and worship is in that. Absolute surrender and purest worship. Offering, surrender, one step away. Step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone. When I first started coming to church, I wouldn't lift my hands. I didn't feel worthy of it. I didn't understand it. I thought people would judge me. I didn't do it. And I'm not saying that that's your type of abandoned worship. Maybe yours looks like dancing. What is that, Mark? What was it? Marcus, that dances like he's in front of the throne. Isn't that Marcus? I think so. He used to do the spiritual warfare camp. This guy, the first time I saw him, I was like, what is wrong with him? Like, he dances with abandon. He dances with abandon when he worships. It's beautiful. And I couldn't even raise a hand to save my life. I was so worried about what people think of me. Everybody's worship looks different. God's calling everybody else into different kinds of worship. So I'm not saying your worship should look like somebody else's worship. And I asked Sherry if I could give a little bit of her testimony about her worship while I was up here, because it's about abandon. It's about you making the step that God's asking you to take to lay down your life and say, I surrender. I worship you. My will doesn't matter. Yours does. You're amazing. I want to be closer to you. I am giving you worship in abandon. Sherry worships like nobody I know, and it's beautiful, and it's graceful, and it's gorgeous. Sherry never used to do that. Did you guys know that? Sherry wouldn't move when she worshiped. God asked Sherry to move when she worships. Sherry had a choice. Sherry was one step away from deeper worship. You could probably ask her. The worship she has of the Lord, the intimacy, the encounter is different with the Lord. She was one step away. She was, her will given over to him was all she had to do. And it doesn't matter what any of you think of her. But she had a choice. She could have decided, you know what, it does matter what you think of me, and I cannot do that. It's crazy. People are going to talk about me. They're going to judge me. She was one step away from a deeper encounter with the Lord. Anybody here want a deeper encounter with the Lord? Yes. I want to know him more. I want to know him better. And so Sherry took a leap and a step and decided, yep, I'm going to do this. And it has increased her relationship with the Lord amazingly. She's not worried what you guys think of her, and I'm sure that tries to pop in. She just kicks it right out. She found out why God was asking her. It's about abandon. It's about being a step away from being completely laid down to the Lord, to dying to what people think of you. And I talk about this so much, I feel like a broken record, but that's what God's saying right now. Abandon. It's about abandon. It's about a step towards God and away from what you think is right. The way that seems right to a man is what the Bible says. Well, what seems right to me is that I'm a businesswoman, and businesswomen don't get crazy and dance in front of the Lord in front of a bunch of people. Right? I mean, the way that seems right to a man is not the way that's right to God. He's looking for people that will lay down their lives and take that step. It's literally just one step. I've really never had God have me do a marathon at a time, though I'm sure he does with some people. But it's just step by step. Just step by step. Amy, will you do this? Amy, will you get up and preach? Amy, will you do a video on Facebook? None of those things make me comfortable. Just one step. Just one step. Will you dance for me and not care what other people think? One step. One step, and it just leads to another step. Closer and closer to the Lord. Closer and closer to knowing him and encountering him. And I want to know him more. I want to encounter him. I want to see his face in the land of the living. I don't want to wait till I die. Yes, Sherry. In the land of the living. It's in Psalms somewhere. I don't know where. Woo! 27. Gosh, I'm so glad I have all of your help. Yes, Psalm 27. I just love that verse, but I'm not good at that, so I got MJ to back me up. Oh, yes, girl, yes. We want to encounter him. Do you want to see him move through your life? Yes. Do you want to see him move through your family? Do you want to see him move at work? You're one step away. But you just have to step. It's scary. It's the roller coaster ride. But it's beautiful and exhilarating, and it is certainly not boring. And it is so worth it when you just get a little closer. I think it's Eric Gilmore that says it, and it popped in my head. How will you ever get pregnant if you're never with him? Right? How are you ever going to give birth to what you are meant to do if you're never, ever with him, if you won't take that step? God asked me a month or so ago to be silent. Does anybody else here know that? Tammy's laughing her head off. He asked for silence from me. And he didn't just mean my talking. He meant when... For those who don't know me out there in internet land, I'm not quiet. Hence the snorting in the back of the church. I'm not quiet. I love that. He also asked me for silence like in other places. Like I will fill my space with noise. Because not only am I not quiet outside, I am not quiet inside either. I'm a ball of things going on all the time. I'm super busy. I got plans, and we're going to do them, and let's conquer the world. And as soon as I'm done with another one, I'm thinking of another one. My poor husband. Always got a plan. We're always doing something. Let's fix something. Let's do something. Let's make it better. Silence, God said. And I'm like, what? I didn't think it was that big of a deal until the first day I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm so used to filling myself with noise. I sit alone. Like I'm used to filling that space with noise, like a lot of noise. And I was like, I'm going to listen to you, but this is super uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I didn't realize this bothered me so much. Not like no messages on YouTube, just something to fill my space. No, light instrumental music, and I'm like, whoa. Oh, my brain is cooking. And some of the thoughts I was having weren't exactly great about myself, about situations, and he wanted to nail that down. I was one step away from freedom, but I had to take that step and listen and be silent. He freed me up from some things, and it was amazing. I was just one step away of just obedience. That's it, just taking that step and saying, okay, I think you're telling me to be quiet. You know that's hard, but there's a reason you're asking. One step away from freedom. That's where I was at, just one step away from that freedom that I needed. And I didn't even know I needed it. I didn't even know that stuff was in there. I was like, my gosh, there's stuff in there. I didn't know it was there. One step away from being free in him. One step away from getting more and more pregnant. Ready to give birth. Kingdom's a seed, right? The kingdom's a seed. You got to encounter him. You've got to be with him. You're one step away. It's uncomfortable. Our flesh does not want those things. Our flesh wants to stay, like Kat said, it wants to stay over here. Woe is me. You see the way people treat me. I want to stay here. You're one step away from freedom. One step away from those chains being broken. One step away. There was a time where, middle of coronavirus, that I was at home, we're all locked down. It was like the beginning of it, we're locked down. And I was struggling. I'm like sitting at home. It's just me and my husband. He's doing something. I'm always doing something. I'm baking everything. I don't like to cook or bake. But I'm baking everything because literally I have nothing else to do. The house is spotless. What do I do now? And I'm just sitting there going, God, I just don't feel like you're near. I don't feel like you're here. I feel alone. This is scary. It's messy. I'm alone. And I heard him say, just turn your face. I'm always there. I was one step away. I had a choice right then. Turn my face and agree with him and say, you are there. You're there, Lord, all the time. I'm just a step away from turning to you and saying, I know you're here and I know you love me. But keep on doing that every day when it doesn't feel like he's there. One step away. I had some amazing encounters with the Lord after that. If I wouldn't have turned my face and said, I agree with you, Lord. You are right there. You're with me. You say you'll never leave or forsake me, even when I don't feel like it. I'm assuming I'd have missed out on all those amazing encounters with the Lord. You're one step away from breakthrough. You're one step away from freedom. You're one step away from the breaking of those chains that have held you back. You're one step away. And it may look funny to people, and you may be uncomfortable, but you are just one step away from those places. I want to ask you what the most important commandment is in the Bible. I'll read it to you. It's okay. I know you guys know. You're not very good participators all the time. I do love you, though. I did trick you guys. That was fun, though. Literally, I think that's like the funnest thing I've had in any message. It was so much fun. I was like, they're going to say yes, and I'm going to be like, and it's going to be a great time. We're going to read. Sorry. Feel bad for my husband again, because I'm like this all the time. I am. I love to pick on people. Matthew 22, 36 through 39 is what we're going to read. This is the key to what God is asking you to do. The will, the worship, it's very simple. We make it super complicated. You take one step, and this is what you're stepping towards. This might not seem like it fits, but you put it in here, and we're going to read it, because I feel like it fits. Matthew 22, 36 through 39. Teacher, what is the most important commandment in the law of Moses? Remember, there's a lot of commandments. Jesus replied, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. One step away from that kind of love. But if you refuse to take that step, do you feel like you're meeting that commandment? And I'm not saying you're condemned today, but it is a conviction. All your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength, that's a lot. And I am certain I am not always there because I walked out of that Walmart without showing the glory of God to that little boy or young man that needed it. But I'm one step away. I got a choice. I'm going to go back off, or I'm going to go, yes, Lord, I do love you. That's it. Will, worship. It's loving God. That's what those things are. Your will and your worship is because you love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And then you can love your neighbor as yourself. We're trying to do the others first. I've been trying to do the others first. I wanted to see God's glory. I wanted to see him in the land of the living. I wanted the neighbors to know. And I do still want all of those things. But I didn't have it the right order. I'm one step away. I'm one step away from walking into that Walmart, laying my hands on that kid and seeing him get up. One step. One step. We're all one step away from freedom, breakthrough, breaking of chains. Your step is love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Give your will to him. Give your worship to him. He'll change all that icky other stuff. Believe me, I found that in my silence, that there was some icky stuff I needed to deal with. I felt like my plans were a lot better than his. Like I knew what should happen. But his love is so great for not only me, but for you guys. You're only one step away. You're one step away from seeing the power of God come through your life. To see him in the land of the living. I am going to key up a song. Well, I'm not going to key up a song. Brendan is going to key up a song for us because he's amazing at his job back there. You're all one step away. I'm one step away. Brenda, you're one step away. Jamie, you're one step away. We're all just one step away from encountering God. Will we just give up our wills? Will we just give up our worship to him? It's your choice. You have to take the step. And again, it can be uncomfortable. But once you move over that step, once you take that step, it's so worth it. Being in the presence of the Lord, encountering him in your life, and having him flow through your life to everyday things is something you cannot replace. You're one step away from breakthrough today. You're one step away from breaking chains that are holding you down. And so I'm asking you, are you ready to take the step? Are you ready? This altar is open. And I really am excited for where this church is going. I see it. I see the faith growing. I see people stepping out and taking those steps. You're just one step away from breakthrough. One step away from freedom. And if you've never taken any steps towards Jesus and you are here today, it's just one step away. It's just darkness to light. Darkness to light. Take the step today.